Hello, hello, hello. I'm Ed Jones. I'm the founder of the Beyond the Field program and an experienced player development professional. This podcast is here to bring exposure to the player development field with the goal of creating generational impact in athletics and other surrounding areas. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to spend time with me on this platform. In today's episode, we will continue our series called The Questions of Player Development. I would also like to announce that I'm writing a book that will cover these questions as well. We will dive into the questions and their answers after this ad by our sponsors. This podcast is brought to you by Beyond the Field Program, LLC. Beyond the Field is now providing consulting services. The services are the following: player development staff consulting, program evaluation and consulting, player development program creation, and player development education. Please head to btfprogram.com and click on our consulting tab to find out more. We help you help athletes create generational impact. All right, today's show, we continue the series called The Questions of Player Development. This past year, I collected a number of questions for my next book that I would write. I decided, why not bring the questions of that book to this podcast? So today we'll cover questions 13 through 15. Question 13. What areas do player development professionals focus on? Now, as I've said in previous podcasts, the player development role is different everywhere you go. And that could be on a collegiate level and the professional level. In my time in this role and getting to know other professionals in this space, there tends to be an emphasis on the following: character, community, career, leadership, wellness, transitional development, personal development, and transferable skills. Now, as I said, those are done by a lot of different people. You're going to find there's a lot that player development professionals do, and maybe I missed some in this list, but a lot of it's going to fall under that umbrella. For me in the Beyond the Field program, it's personal wellness, community impact, and career development. Those are the three that are really focused on. And a lot of this stuff, these other things I've listed, fall into those umbrellas. And so for player development professionals, it's kind of what you want to focus on, what your head coach wants to focus on, what the administration wants to focus on. And in where I've been, some places I focus on what the players want to focus on. So it could be ever changing, but that list right there kind of covers it all. And I'll say that list again: it's character, community, career, leadership, wellness, transitional development, personal development, and transferable skills. Now, once again, there's a lot of possibilities in this role. These are just a list of the ones that I have seen in this space. The most important thing when people ask me about player development, ask me what I think they should do or what they should do, stick to what you're passionate about. Stick to what will continue to create possibilities. So focus on what you're passionate about. Also focus on what the program wants to do. Question 14, is mental health coaching a part of this role? Now, as you all have seen in sports and society lately, possibly the last 10 years, mental health is a huge piece of our world, and it's a huge piece of this role. In my role, I've been blessed to work with mental health professionals in the athletic department and some who work externally with our athletes. Once again, they have been incredible individuals in the mental health space. I've learned so much from them. They've helped me understand the importance of mental health. That could be, through counseling. That could be, and we did some mental health. We did some mental building, mental actualization, things like that. But they've helped me see the importance of mental health. When I was at Kansas, our entire staff had the opportunity to become mental health first aid certified. So I was able to do that and learned a lot. The algae, you all who are familiar with that, the algae method, and that was to help us be prepared for emergency and surface level situations. Now, if things get deep, I've had moments where guys have come in and shared stuff with me, what's going on in their life, what they need. I do take that in, but I do want to get them with a professional. And like I said, I've been blessed to work with many of those. Mental health's importance has risen so much in sport. I mean, Players Tribune, if you go there, you can find articles. You're seeing different things happening. It's very important, especially coming out of COVID. It's even heightened because of, different situations and you're learning about, I've learned about like high functioning depression, different things where you're having to stay on, for lack of a better word, your guard to make sure that you're ensuring that the wellness of these student athletes. And so, the importance in this role, not only in this role, but just in the world, needs to continue. And so, if you want to get in this role, mental health. There's a lot of resources to read. I've been blessed to work with great professionals. And I would also say in this role, one of the best things I did this past year was I started going to a professional and sharing. And that helped me. Like I was able to share. And not only was I now telling players, I've always told players, hey, we have these people that can help you, but I never went. Now I was able to share with the players what it actually looked like. Hey, in my session, this is what happened. Not necessarily what was shared in there, but how it went. And I was able to, players were able to go, not just because of me, but because they knew somebody who was doing it. So mental health is important. Make sure, it's a part of this role. You want to make sure you're there for the student athletes, make sure there's professionals for them, and then also take care of yourself. Question 15, what about the professional level for this role? So this is a question I received the answer to the last couple of years as I built relationship with those on the professional level, getting to know they're called the directors of player engagement, at the NFL level, the clubs, and even getting to know people, that work in player development, player engagement at the NFL level, as far as the NFL office goes. And it's been incredible getting to know them, but there's something that you notice in it. There is a lot of carryover. There is carryover in this position as compared to the college level. Because once again, you're off the field, you're not coaching, you're there to help develop the athlete, help them to engage and, be that engagement piece for their life, One big thing that's been a consensus with people I've talked to at the NFL level is just the mandatory programming given by the NFL, NFLPA, specifically the rookie symposium and the rookie transition. And so I talked to a lot of people on that level, and the rookie transition. So that transition from being a college athlete to the NFL, there's a lot of time spent there. Another thing I've heard is on that level, they have a lot of programming and engaging with the players' families and significant others. And so it's a little different than college. I know in a previous podcast, I talked about, how I've always enjoyed engaging the families, but this is different. Like this is like true programming. I've heard people say they've had to get wives jobs, get them connected here, whatever it may be. So they're diving into the full development, honestly, of that entire family. And so I've heard that, and it's been interesting to see how they go about that. The one person told me it was hard to engage and develop at times because when you're creating meaningful programming, transactions can get in the way. So he told me he had an example of, he had a second year player that was coming in and they were going to get on his resume, LinkedIn, all that. He was like, hey, just, come meet me tomorrow in my office. Well, he got cut that night before. And so that's a tough part I've heard from those on that level about creating, meaningful programming, because those transactions happen every single day. Somebody's cut, traded, whatever it may be. One of the programs I love to see on that level is what the Miami Dolphins do in their business combine. Shout out to Caleb Thornhill, who spearheaded this initiative. I met him because what he does is when the Dolphins play in different cities. So I was at the University of Houston at the time. He sent me an email and he put on a sports panel for our players. It was incredible. I got to meet him, and in following up and, getting to know him, I saw that he was doing this business combine, and it's what you think it is. It's grown. I'll put links to it in the show notes, but I think this past year was the 6th annual. And shout out to my guy, Alexander Martin. He's there also. Shout out to Alex. They're doing this great thing where they're teaching these players so much. There's entrepreneurs, former players. They're probably talking about, blockchain technology, crypto, NFTs, different things like that. But they're just, developing them as a whole. And it's one of the greatest programs I've seen on that level. And I know there are other, programs going on with different teams. That's one that's pretty visible. And so I would tell you all to check that out. Once again, those links will be in the show notes. So I was at the combine for 12 days. I got to be able to put faces to names of the directors of player engagement that I've got to know over the past couple of years. And one of the directors told me that the NFL teams are moving to, practitioners who have done programming for athletes. And so if you're on the college level, maybe you're a player development, student athlete development. I've seen a lot of people, in student athlete development, player development space go to the NFL. Shout out to Jess Gray with the Lions, Sean Pugh with the Lions, Alexander Martin with the Dolphins, as I said earlier. Those are people that I know, and hopefully I'm not missing. Oh, Dr. Lori Robinson, who I work with at Baylor, she's with the Ravens. But you saw people, go, those practitioners getting that chance at the NFL to continue to help those players because of the plethora of experience, and they're just great individuals and very talented professionals. So they're getting those opportunities to develop players on that level. In season 2 of this podcast, we will have directors of player engagement of the NFL on to talk more about their role. So season 2, I'm giving you bits of it. I can't give it all. I'm excited about season 2, but we got to get through season 1. We got about 10 more episodes left to get through season 1. All right, it's time for the former player shout out. I want to give recognition to those that I've coached or led who are doing great things beyond the field. This episode, I want to give a shout out to Christian Bertrand. Christian played football and ran track and field for us at Hightower High School. He was a captain of our football team and a consummate example of what a leader looks like on and off the field. His work ethic, attention to detail, leadership, and desire to be the best influenced many in our program. He went on to play football at Rice University on a full athletic scholarship. He maintained a 3.3 GPA as a student athlete. If you are familiar with Rice University, you know that is elite for someone to do that there. He graduated and currently works for the largest insurance brokerage in the state of Texas. Christian, I am so proud of you. I'm thankful that I was able to be there for 2 years and see you grow. You're very mature, but seeing you as a man that you are today has been great. So I'm proud of you, man. And you're a great representative of the Hurricanes on Cane Lane. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for taking time to listen. Go follow Beyond the Field on Twitter and IG at BTF_program and on Facebook at BTF program. These episodes are also loaded onto YouTube, so you can find us there. Search Beyond the Field program and subscribe. Tag us on social media and let us know what you learned about player development from today's show. Call to action. I need somebody. If you're hearing this and you're hearing this right now, I want you to be that person. Go to Twitter or go to IG, hashtag the PD pod, and tell us what you learned from today's show. Visit our website, btfprogram.com, and check out the resources and the blogs. Subscribe to this podcast on the platform you're listening to. Please rate and leave a review of the show. It really means so much to me. Share this podcast if you believe it will benefit someone to learn more about player development. On the next episode, we'll continue our series on the questions of player development with questions 16 through 18, in which we will discuss ways college sports teams can create programs for student athletes to learn and grow outside of their sport. How do you get players to understand the truth and the cliche that most college athletes will go pro in something other than sports? And with their busy schedules, what's the most effective way to get student athletes to be involved in program initiatives? I look forward to the next podcast. Thank you for tuning in and spending your valuable time with me. God bless you. Have a great day. Go out and create generational impact. Don't wait. Create generational impact today.